Hello, and welcome to the latest video of Amanda Gets Excited About Books. If you're new to this video series, the way this works is I have a brand new box of books that just came in here to the library, and I am going to show them to all of you. I love it when we get new books in. I get so excited about these new titles, and I can't wait to show them to you. I hope you're as excited as I am. I'll remind everyone, whether you're new to the video series or not, all of these titles are in our catalog right now. So if you see something you like after the video, while you're watching the video, please sign into the catalog and request those titles right now. There's information on how to do that on our website, or you can contact us and we can help you out with that. I'll tell you a little bit about each book as I pull it out, but I will try to keep this video from getting really, really long because I know I can talk a lot about new books and these can get long, but I'm going to try and keep it a little bit shorter this time around. So I might zip through some of them quickly, but hopefully you see something you're excited about. So let's get started and see what's in this box, shall we? Our first book is one that has been getting a lot of buzz. This is Daddy by Emma Cline, and this is a collection of 10 stories in which Emma Cline portrays moments when the ordinary is disturbed, when daily life buckles, revealing the perversity and violence pulsing under the surface. She explores characters navigating the edge, the limits of themselves and those around them, power dynamics in families, in relationships, the distance between their true and false selves. This is a book you will absolutely want to take a look at. Like I said, it's been getting a lot of great buzz. Everyone is saying good things about this book. Next up, we have one that I'm sure people will be very excited about. Fredrik Backman is an author that a lot of people adore, and this is his newest book entitled Anxious People. And this is a charming novel about a crime that never took place, a would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. Next up, I am excited to announce the newest Louise Penny book is out. This is her latest in the Armand Gamache series. So if you are a fan of Chief Inspector Gamache, you will definitely want to get your name on this one and read the newest installment in that series. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This is maybe, I haven't even seen the rest of the box, but this is maybe the one I'm going to be the most excited about. The newest Ruth Ware book. This is called One by One. If you have ever talked to me about books or asked me for recommendations, I have almost assuredly told you to read a Ruth Ware book. She is one of my favorite writers. She does fantastic suspense and thriller books. I've read all of hers. I love them. I have been looking forward to this one coming out. This has a throwback a little bit in its premise to my favorite book of hers, which is In a Dark, Dark Wood, in this sort of snowy seclusion. And we have a bunch of people who are snowed in at a luxurious ski chalet in the French Alps. And you get a little bit of a and then there were none vibe as things start happening to all of these people who are snowed in, and the group one by one begins to dwindle. I know I'm on hold for this one. You will want to be as well. This is sure to be a fantastic read. Our next book is The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein, who is the best-selling author of The Orphan Train. So if you enjoyed that, you may want to check out her newest book. This is a powerful and emotionally resonant novel that captures the hardship, oppression, opportunity, and hope of a trio of women's lives in 19th century Australia. We jump over now to a nonfiction title that is sure to be a powerful read. This is His Truth is Marching On, John Lewis and the Power of Hope. This is by John Meacham, and this explores the life of Congressman John Lewis and his painful quest for justice in America in the 50s to the present, and takes a look at his life and everything that he accomplished and how his life and his fight are still relevant today. Our next title, another one that's getting quite a bit of buzz, is Transcendent Kingdom by Yaa Gyasi. And this is a follow-up to Homegoing, which was a very well-received book. If you attended our afternoon book group, I know that was a title that was read fairly recently. This is a novel about a Ghanaian family in the contemporary South, at once a profound story about race in America, and an astonishingly intimate portrait of a young woman reckoning spiritually and intellectually with a legacy of unimaginable loss. Next up, we've got a few that I'll go through fairly quickly. These are some big name authors that you'll certainly know if you follow these authors and if you would like to read these titles. The first one, we have the newest J.D. Robb, The Shadows in Death is the newest book in this series, in the Eve Dallas series. Next up, we've got a new book by Sandra Brown called Thick as Thieves. And the premise here, 20 years ago in the dead of night, 4 unlikely allies pulled off a daring heist. By daybreak, one was in the hospital, one was in jail, one was dead, and one got away with it. Following that up with another one that everyone will be excited about by Iris Johansen. This is Chaos, and this is about Elisa Flynn, a CIA agent who is willing to go rogue if it means catching a cold-blooded killer in this high-stakes thriller from Iris Johansen. This is, I believe, the start of a new series, so if you've liked her previous books, you'll want to jump on and take a look at this one. This is a book I am very excited to read, and the premise sounds wonderful. I'm excited to take a look at this. This is 50 in Reverse by Bill Flanagan, and this is a 50-year-old who wakes up as a 65-year-old man who wakes up in his childhood bedroom 50 years earlier. So again, kind of a chance to go back, live your life over again. Our main character, Peter, is struggling to fit in as a 15-year-old in 1970 while he's still remembering who he is as a much older man in 2020. He wants to get back to his family, but he's also somewhat tempted to remain in 1970 with a chance to do his life over again. This is 50 in Reverse. This is a don't miss title. If you have any interest whatsoever in the X-Men, if you have watched the movies, if you have read any of the previous comics, this is the collection of the recent House of X and Powers of X event by a number of great people, kind of spearheaded by Jonathan Hickman. This was a game changer for the X-Men universe. The mutants form their own nation, and it is a safe haven for all mutants, whether they've been part of the X-Men, whether they've potentially been foes of the X-Men, and in return for international recognition of this new nation, the mutant country will be offering humanity scientific advancements and a number of other things. It's just absolutely a complete, as I said, complete game changer for what that means for mutant kind and their interactions with the rest of the world. This book is called 3 Single Wives by Gina Lamanna, and the premise of this sounds fascinating. We have a bit of a quote in the inside cover flap, a transcript of a trial in which the prosecutor is asking a witness, have you ever heard of a book club discussion turning into a plot for murder? And so we have 3 women who, discussed a lot of things at this book club, as our witness states. and possibly during the course of this book club made plans to murder a man. This book sounds absolutely charming. This is by The Book. This is by Amanda Sellett. And this is about a devotee of classic novels. Our main character, Mary, is a walking encyclopedia of mistakes that have been made by her favorite literary heroines. So when some of her new friends seem in danger of falling for the same tricks employed by characters in fiction, Mary starts compiling the Scoundrel Survival Guide, using archetypes of literature's debonair bad boys to spot red flags in the dating department. But despite her best efforts, she herself begins falling for a supposed cad, the same one she warned her friends away from. So will she stick to her rules of surviving this fellow, or will she find the happy ending that she's looking for? You'll have to read the book to find out. This is another book you will surely want to put your name on. This is Every Bone a Prayer by Ashley Blooms. If you were a fan of Where the Crawdads Sing, this is very much a read-alike for that. This is Misty's Holler in the Appalachian Mountains. Misty knows her home is different. She may be only 10, but she hears things, and all her sister wants to talk about are the strange objects that start appearing outside of their trailer, and the grown-ups mutter about sins and punishment, but that doesn't scare Misty, not like the hurtful thing that's been happening to her, the hurtful thing that is becoming part of her. And so she has to figure out how to get back to the person that she used to be. This is the story of a tough-as-nails girl whose choices are few, but whose fight is boundless as her coping becomes a battle cry for everyone around her. This is Every Bone a Prayer. What a time to be alive. Carolyn B. Cooney is back writing a thriller now for adults. If you were a reader of young adult mysteries and thrillers back in the day, like I was, you probably read The Face on the Milk Carton and several of her other books, so this is an author you would be familiar with. Now she is back with her first mystery for adults, and this is about Clemmy, who goes next door to check on her difficult and unlikable neighbor Dawn, but he isn't there. Something else is, something stunning, beautiful, and inexplicable. Clemmy photographs the wondrous object on her cell phone and makes the error of forwarding it. As the picture swirls over the internet, she tries desperately to keep a grip on her own personal network of secrets. Can 50 years of carefully hiding under names not her own be ruined by one careless picture? And this is entitled Before She Was Helen by Carolyn B. Cooney. This is a book that sounds utterly charming. This is The Brilliant Life of Eudora Honeysett by Annie Lyons. And this is about 85-year-old Eudora Honeysett, who is done with the noisy, moronic world, all of it. She's not going to leave things to chance. Her end will be on her terms. She's got it all set. Then she meets 10-year-old Rose Trudney, a whirling pint-sized rainbow of sparkling cheer. All Eudora wants is to be left alone to set her affairs in order, but instead she finds herself embarking on a series of adventures with the irrepressible Rose and their affable neighbor, the recently widowed Stanley. Afternoon tea, shopping sprees, trips to the beach, birthday celebrations, and pizza parties. While the unlikely trio of BFFs grow closer and anxiously await the arrival of Rose's new baby sister, Eudora is reminded of her own childhood, of losing her father during World War II, and of the devastating impact it had on her entire family. In reflecting on her past, Eudora realizes she must come to terms with what lies ahead. But now that her joy for life has been rekindled, how can she possibly say goodbye? Our next title is a Reese's Book Club pick, and one that sounds fantastic. This is The Last Story of Mina Lee. This is by Nancy Julian Kim. And this is a mother-daughter story with a bit of a mystery to it. Margot's mother, Mina, isn't returning her calls, and it's a mystery to Margot as to why, until she visits her childhood apartment and finds that her mother has suspiciously died. The discovery sends Margot digging through the past, unraveling the tenuous, invisible strings that held together her single mother's life as a Korean War orphan and an undocumented immigrant, only to realize how little she truly knew about her mother. Interwoven with Margot's present-day search is Mina's story of her first year in Los Angeles as she navigates the promises and perils of the American myth of reinvention. So if you are a fan of mother-daughter stories with a little bit of mystery, you will absolutely want to check this book out. Our next title is called The Space Between Worlds by Micah Johnson. And the premise of this sounds fascinating. This is set where multiverse travel is finally possible, but the only catch is you cannot visit a world where your counterpart in that world is still alive. Enter Kara, whose parallel selves happen to be exceptionally good at dying. From disease, turf wars, or vendettas they couldn't outrun, Kara's life has been cut short on 372 worlds in total. On this Earth, however, Kara has survived. Identified as an outlier, and therefore a perfect candidate for multiverse travel, she is plucked from the dirt of the wastelands. Now she has a nice apartment on the lower levels of the wealthy and walled-off Wiley City. She works and shamelessly flirts with her enticing yet aloof handler, Dell, as the two women collect off-world data for the Eldridge Institute. She even occasionally leaves the city to visit her family in the wastes, though she struggles to feel at home in either place. So long as she can keep her head down and avoid trouble, Kara is on a sure path to citizenship and security. But trouble finds Kara when one of her 8 remaining doppelgangers dies under mysterious circumstances, plunging her into a new world with an old secret. What she discovers will connect her past and her future in ways that she could have never imagined, and reveal her own role in a plot that endangers not just her world, but the entire multiverse. This sounds fascinating, and I absolutely want to read this. And our final book from this box is called Imperfect Women by Araminta Hall. And this is an enthralling, irresistible novel of psychological suspense about 3 women and the destructive power of buried secrets. When Nancy Hennessy is murdered, she leaves behind 2 best friends, an adoring husband and daughter, and a secret lover whose identity she took to the grave. Nancy was gorgeous, wealthy, and cherished by those who knew her. From the outside, her life was perfect. But as the investigation into her death flounders and her friends Eleanor and Mary wrestle with their grief, dark details surface that reveal how little they knew Nancy, each other, and maybe even themselves. This is Imperfect Women. Thank you so much for spending this time going through this box of books with me. I hope you are very excited about some of the titles in here. I know I am. Please sign into the catalog and place a hold on any of these titles that you would like to read so that we can get them ready for you as soon as possible, and you will get a chance to enjoy them. See you next time, and thanks again for watching.